can be represented like this. You have the teacher in the middle, you have students around the outside. And these are students in a class, and what happens is the learning goes this way. The student asks a question, and the teacher. It's great, but what's the problem with this type of model?
Well, you're feeding the students always
Yeah.
their solutions, their answers. You're not really making them to think, be
Yeah.
creative, solving problems. You can get great results
Yeah.
like this. I mean, it's established. People do it already, but obviously it's almost like he's come to his
Yeah.
natural cycle, and something needs to happen.
And the other big problem about this is it doesn't scale very well, because you have a limited teacher time, and every time you put a new student in, you're diluting the impact of the teacher. So what happens with this model, in mathematical terms, it's the learning effectiveness is proportional to 1 over n. As the number of students increases, it's a little bit difficult. In fact, you could even say it's even simpler than S is the number of students, and T, teacher quality, proportional to T divided by S.
Sure.
Now, the new model, which isn't particularly new because Oxford and Cambridge have been doing it for a number of years, is a problem-oriented approach. The problem is in the middle and the students are around the outside, but the teacher is also looking at the same problem and taking on a perspective just like any of these other students. So one of these is the teacher, these are the students. Now what happens is that we now then have a dialogue whereby this student over here will ask the teacher a question, whoops, let's do it straight away, ask the teacher a question in relation to this problem, and what happens is this answer can be seen by everybody because it's happening in this physical space, which in the technology is in kind of a chat space using our technology. Now this student can interact with this one because they can see the result of this exchange. This student also can interact with this one. Everyone can see what's going on here. So what's nice about this is the whole exchange happens when this student interacts with this teacher. Now, this teacher can interact with this student, students can also interact with each other. So what happens about this is really nice, because it's problem-solving approach, and I've done this many times with groups of students. The more students you have in a room trying to solve a problem, the more they spark off each other and the more they arrive at a solution faster.
So how does that work with technology then?
Okay, so in technology, let's say this is an online learning environment now. You have a physical space there, and this is a bit like a chat room. And what happens is, this is a space here. A student comes along and says, oh, here's my question.
Okay.
All these other students can actually see the teacher's reply. And the teacher's reply, because it's the Oxford and Cambridge academic method, is just to spark their thinking. It's just to give them a hint. So then they go away and ask another question, following that up, and so on. And there's a dialogue, a backwards and forwards dialogue there that is publicly available so everyone can see it. You compare this with, say, a one-to-one. If you just got a student-teacher one-to-one, no one can see the interactions, no one can see the exchanges, so no one else benefits other than these two people.
Okay.
So that's why the maths of this, the learning, is proportional to, you've got the teacher, but it's times the students. And what's nice about this is the number of students, as the number of students increases, the learning goes up.
What about if somebody fits something that is completely incorrect?
Well, the great thing about this is the teacher will then guide them and be able to deal with any misconceptions and nuances.
Okay.
If this didn't have teachers at all, if this was just students,
Yeah.
there'd be opportunity for it to go a little bit out on a limb.
Yeah.
So this is a guided, facilitated, problem-oriented approach to learning. The teacher is a top academic who's either an undergraduate or postgraduate at Oxford and Cambridge. They know this model because this is how Oxford and Cambridge teach their students. They throw the problem set into the middle area and then they say, okay, see how far you can get, talk to each other as much as you like, then we'll have a discussion. This is the best representation of everyone sitting around a table and having a discussion. Because it's a way to do asynchronous, so everyone can jump in and see this at any time. They don't all have to be in the same physical space. They don't even have to be all at the same time. They can see the record of this. So if you could take the benefits of the Oxford and Cambridge tutorial method of sitting around a table and discussing a problem and letting the students reveal their thinking and develop their thinking and develop their learning as they go along, if you were going to reproduce that, this is what it would look like. And this is the technology that we're using for the Z-Coach system. How's that sound?
That sounds like the traditional method has its date.
Yeah, it's good. Big X and a big tick to this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clear.